Hey guys, my name is Stacie Elliott and I am here today to give you the beginner's guide to low carb, high fat lifestyle, low carb, keto lifestyle. Oftentimes when people have watched my journey and watched how much weight I've lost and inflammation and bloating that I've lost on this lifestyle, and they see how much energy I've gained, focus, clarity, mood, sleep. Their biggest question in my inbox is, hey, tell me what to eat. Well, how do I do this thing that you're doing? How do I look and feel the way that you are? So stay tuned today. I'm gonna cover my top tips to guide you along this journey. So if you guys haven't had a chance to check out my story, I'm gonna link it up here so that you guys can go check that out. I was really frustrated, confused with what was going on with my body. I thought I was eating the right things. I thought I was doing the right things. I'm a runner, triathlete. I killed myself in the gym and I wasn't feeling better. The fat was increasing, my waistline was increasing. I knew things weren't right. And so I went searching and I went researching and, I did things like the 1-3-1 diet with Chalene Johnson, which I would say for anyone to do that. I'll also link that below because that is going to teach you so much about your body. And once you know how your body works, you can then start to heal it. And honestly, weight loss for me is just the insides matching the outsides. And so until you heal your body on a cellular interior level, you will never start seeing the results on the outside. And that's where I felt so stuck. So this, first of all, as we get started and I go through exactly how to get set up to be successful in how I changed my life and my diet and my lifestyle, my biggest tip to you is to remember that this is a lifestyle. And it's gonna be a huge shift, right? Because we were lied to for a long time that fat makes you fat. And yet, the more sugar and the more processed carbs that we are putting into our lifestyle, we are seeing higher rates of diabetes, bigger waistlines, more people that are having diabetes and metabolic conditions. So we know that it's not working. And so one of the biggest things that helped me along was to learn this ketogenic lifestyle or this low carb, high fat lifestyle. And the reason I make the distinction is because I do believe that everyone's macronutrient range, and I'll get into what macronutrients are, everyone's range is going to be different. And so that's why I like to call it a lower carb, higher fat diet. And I also want you to keep in mind that this is also going to help heal your gut. Once your gut heals, then you can subdue that inflammation. Once you subdue the inflammation, you can help heal your hormones. Once you help heal your hormones, you will then start to lose weight and body fat. So another really cool thing that you'll realize is that as you go along this lifestyle, at the beginning you will have to track, and I'll talk more about that later on in the video, but eventually you're going to feel so full and satiated during utilizing this lifestyle that it's going to become very intuitive way of eating for you. So you're going to be following your body's lead because you are going to start learning what actual hunger feels like and not cravings. So you're not going to be hungry all the time. You're going to feel satiated. You're going to feel like you're in control of your body again. So along with the lowering the carbs, I also want you to start upping your healthy fats. So buying, your healthy nuts, your low carb nuts, adding in that avocado, the MCT oils, which my favorite one I will link below. All of those healthy fats. And why do you need to do this? You need to do this because your body needs fat. It is essential to your body's function. It's essential to your brain. It's essential to your cell growth. It is essential to your hormone balance. Fat is very, very important. In fact, Now they're calling Alzheimer's the type 3 diabetes. And why is that? Is because your brain is like 80% fat, and you need fat for your brain to be utilized correctly. You need fat for your hormones to work correctly. And we're not getting that fat in our diets. And if we can't heal our hormones, you will never lose weight. So to reiterate, step 1, bring down those carbs lower than 20 grams a day and start incorporating those healthy fats. Easy, right? All right, tip number 2. Once you get the hang of it, you can then start calculating and balancing what's called your macros. You probably have heard this word a lot and you have no idea what it means. So your macros stand for macronutrients, and those are your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. So when you talk about macros and we talk about the ketogenic lifestyle, the way you set up your macros for that is you want fat at 70% of your diet. You want your protein between 20 and 25%, and your carbs at between 5 and 10%. So it's a very low carb, high fat lifestyle. And protein has to be very moderate. And why is that? Just FYI, is if your body burns through the sugars and the carbs for fuel, and it has too much protein in your body, you can actually tap into protein and create that into sugar. And if there's excess sugar in your body, if there are excess carbs, guess what happens? You shoot your insulin up every time you use it, and then whatever you don't use gets stored as fat. In fact, did you know that every time your insulin levels go up, you cannot burn fat? So you are essentially storing fat when you're running off of carbs. So this is going to be a surefire way to allowing your body to run more off of fats. Now, that is a keto macronutrient range, and I will link my guide on how to set that up if you want to do keto. I personally do not believe that there is one macronutrient range that will be suitable for every single person. And why is that? It's because we are all different humans. So what you need to do is set this up and play around with it. Maybe you do best at 15 to 20 grams of carbs. I know for myself, I'm an athlete. I run and bike, sometimes both in one day. And so I'm exercising a lot. So my carb range might be a little higher than someone who is more sedentary. So as you're setting up your macronutrient range in that ketogenic lifestyle, I would say shoot for those levels and see how you feel. You might have to pull back on some of those as you go, but that will be a good guide to see what it really takes to get your foods very high in fat and very low in carbs and that moderate protein level. So tip 3, as you are moving into this lower carb, higher fat lifestyle, is called the keto flu. And if you get your macronutrients in the keto range, what can you experience is called the keto flu. And because your body has never run on ketones and it is now being deprived of carbs, it freaks out and doesn't know what to do. So there's a couple ways to negotiate this with your body. The first being electrolyte. When you get into ketosis, you are going to lose so much inflammation. You are going to go from bloated to just feeling so lean and so amazing. And that was the biggest thing I can remember in my journey. But as you lose inflammation, since it's a diuretic, it pulls water and it pulls all the gunk from your body. But along with the gunk that's in your cells, it also pulls some of your electrolytes. So your sodium, magnesium, and potassium can be getting pulled in that diuretic process. And that's why sometimes we want to utilize electrolytes to help supplement that back in. First of all, that's going to help with keto flu, because if your electrolyte levels are better, it's going to really help those symptoms. And second of all, you're just going to feel better. So I will link the electrolyte that I use and that I send out in my 10-day experiences for my ketone customers, so that you can see below the ones that I use. And it's essentially just, your main electrolytes that you lose in ketosis. So another way to help with the keto flu is exogenous ketones. And this is a great way, first of all, when you can go straight into ketosis, so you can skip some of that battling with your diet and this testing and that testing. And if you're already in ketosis from a ketogenic diet, it actually can really help with curbing your cravings and giving you more energy. You guys, it has made such a difference in my life. So I will link my 10-day experiences down below, and you can check out a video on my 10-day experience and what I experienced in my first 10 days. Be sure to check that out because it's pretty amazing. Either way, just try to get those electrolytes balanced and get through keto flu because it can happen, and the end is worth all of that. So hang in there. So tip 3 I have for you is to get out the processed foods in your diet, your cereals, your breads, things that just break down into sugar, and things that have extra added ingredients that your body can't even recognize. Essentially, sometimes we think about carbs and it's not the fact that they are sugar, it's the fact that they're so processed that your body can't even recognize them anymore. And that means that it comes out and it creates inflammation, and when you create inflammation, you change your hormone levels. And so all of this stuff, gut related, is affecting your health and your weight loss. So get it out of your house, clean out all the junk. And the cool thing with the keto or the low carb, high fat diet is we really start to depend on these green leafy vegetables, these beautiful fatty meats, these wonderful cheeses, avocados, nuts, all of the good things. And so you're not eating packaged foods anymore. You're eating real nutrient-dense foods. And you're also, because you're eating those things, you're so much more satiated, you're so much more full, you don't have the cravings, you don't need to snack all the time, and you have a cleaner energy from burning ketones, or essentially your fat, and utilizing that as fuel. The very last thing I'll talk about, and I guess we'll say this is step 4, is intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting was really scary to me at first because essentially it is going without food in the morning. But I really love it. I really think it's an amazing tool, especially for beginners, and I'll tell you why. You don't have to change anything about what you're eating or the amounts you're eating. The only thing you're changing is the window of time you eat your food in. And so what happens is our bodies can be in an either fasted state or a fed state. And when you go to bed at night and you sleep your 12 hours or 10 hours, it takes your body about 12 hours to get from a fed state to a fasted state. Once your body is in a fasted state, it doesn't have to break down food, and it can do all the work, the cellular work, the interior work that it needs to do. And so with intermittent fasting, what you do, instead of waking up and then going right back to food and getting your body back into working to break all the food down, your body gets a break from breaking down food, and it gets to go to work on what's called cell autophagy. And there are dead cells that happen all the time in our body. They don't speak to each other anymore. They don't communicate, and they're bad cells. But your body isn't able to clear out the junk because it's constantly working to break down your food. And so once you allow your body that extra time, it is able to utilize and get rid of old cells that no longer benefit you, and it just resets your body and resets your metabolism, and make sure that the cells that are in your body are good working cells. So that's one reason. The other really cool thing about intermittent fasting is once your body gets out of the fed state and into the fasted state, to get energy, guess what your body goes after at that time? Your love handles, your butt, your belly, all of that fat that is on your body is now going to be able to be utilized and for fuel. So it's attacking all of those places that you want to get rid of and using that as fuel for your body. So intermittent fasting is wonderful. I will also link a little bit about intermittent fasting and a guide to using fat in your lifestyle below this video as well, so that you can take a look at. So guys, those are my top 5 tips to a beginner's guide to low carb, high fat, keto, however you want to call it. But remember to take it slow, keep it simple, and adjust as you go. That's how I learned this. I've been in here for now a year. I have helped hundreds of people feel better just by implementing these very small, easy tools. And I'll tell you what, eating the way that we eat does not suck. It is so nourishing. It feels so good. The food is wonderful, and you're gonna feel better, and you're gonna start losing weight. So hang in there. Please, if this video was helpful for you, make sure to share it with your friends, and make sure you subscribe so that you can hang with me every week as I bring you more videos and tips and recipes to help you along your journey. All right, guys, see you soon.